Welcome back to this three-part instructional series on how to effectively operate this beautiful 1968 SeaKing cowboy. The next part in our video series is launching the boat. So, once you arrive at your destination, what I like to do is a bit of an etiquette thing. If there's a line and you're waiting in the line to launch, get everything that you need into the boat while you're waiting in that line, so you're not messing around on the ramp or messing around at the dock, getting a bunch of stuff into the boat, just as an etiquette thing. What you want to do, there's a couple really important things that you need to make sure you have in the boat before you go out. And I'm going to create a checklist. As part of this series, you'll get a printed checklist of the things that you need to remember before you launch the boat. And of course, the things you need to remember when you take the boat out of the water. But I'll go over a couple of them now. So obviously we need oars in there, life jackets for everybody that is going to be riding in the boat, and Alex will need the life jacket on. You want to make sure at that time when you drop this into water that this ratchet strap is off. But the most important thing you want to remember of all the things before you drop the boat in the water is the plug that goes back here. And if my cameraman only knew how to actually move with me, you'd see what I'm trying to show you. Thank you.
I'm being paid those salaries.
Somewhat half-assed cameraman. This is the plug hole, so you just got to push that guy in there. That is the absolute most important thing, because if you back this boat into the water and that plug's not in, it's going to be a fun day. But I keep it out when it's at home here, because when it rains, this thing will fill up with water, so it'll just drain out. But what I typically do is I put this in before I leave the house to go, so that it's already in and it's not rolling around in here while I'm driving, because I don't really have a great place to store it, and honestly, it's fine here when it's just sitting here. So the other things you want in there, obviously, particularly for this trip, is the trolling battery. So you want, typically I keep this in the truck till I get there, and then I put it in the boat again before I get to the ramp. And also the trolling motor itself I keep in the truck until I get there, and I put that in the boat at that time. So I don't really like to drive with anything in the boat other than I'll leave the oars in there because they're kind of secured down, and the little buoys up there, that the docking buoys. But everything else I kind of leave in the bed of the truck until I get there, and then I throw that in the boat when I'm ready to launch. So really quickly, just talking about launching. Basically, most of the ramps are pretty easy. There's plenty of space that you kind of pull around and you pull straight up, so you're perfectly in line with the ramp before you start backing up. So as long as you can back up straight, you kind of just get yourself lined up and back up straight to the ramp. Now what I like to do is, again, this ratchet strap will be off the boat at that time. What I like to do is back it up to, so that the water's probably 3/4 or up to the top of this tire. Dimitri will be in the boat at that point in time. You want to unhook the safety chain here. Come here, Dimitri. And then you loosen up the crank here like this, and it'll have some give, and then you can pull this out. And then because this boat is so light, you just kind of push it off into the water. And as long as you have two people with you, whoever's in the boat, I think probably Dimitri, will throw this rope over to whoever's standing on the dock, which will probably be Alex, and then he'll pull the boat over there, and they can quick hook it up to the dock cleats. Then you can pull the trailer out, go park the truck, and then come down and jump in the boat and have an amazing day of angling. Really quickly here to show you
catch the nunkers.
Trolling motor, or the trolling motor as some people call it. They have weird accents.
You're offending people.
This SeaKing is a bit strange in that it has these little cross sections, these ribs all the way through it. So there's not a really good place for this giant trolling motor in the casing, or the trolling motor battery in the casing to sit. So I have these two little wooden blocks here, kind of set there like that. And Alex, please don't do that. It's not a guitar. I just set it on that. Now you'll notice it has these two extra things right here. That's where the trolling motor wires go up and in. So if you pop this little case open, these things are obviously, they go there on the battery and get the little twisties or little spinnies to tighten it. And then these wires have a little room to go up and in there. And you can keep it closed. That's basically how you put the battery in. And then the motor itself, very basic assembly. Goes on here like this. And these things screw tight. And then it has this little thing which allows this little switch, which is actually kind of broken, but you can still use it. Just allows you to turn up and down. So when you back into the water, what I do is I put the trolling motor on before I back into the water. Then when I back in, I leave it up like this. And then once it's in, you or Dimitri or whoever else in the boat can get down to the right depth. And you can slide it up and down to play the depth depending on the weeds and things like that by just using this little thing. But what are you doing?
Lanternfly on my leg.
Pretty self-explanatory. I don't know how this video is going to turn out because my cameraman is all over the place, but
Lanternflies are invasive.
hopefully all that makes sense, and that's pretty much it as far as launching goes.
Fun fact, lanternflies are invasive.
All right.
Same with snakehead.
Thanks for joining us.
Same with Dad.
Look forward to seeing you in the next part of this series.
This man right here.
Would you stop?